All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The start of the 2023 college football season is right around the corner. And with that said, I want to talk about some guys that should be on the radar to win the Heisman Trophy for this year as the nation's best player in college football. You look at Michigan junior quarterback J.J. McCarthy, and of course, for McCarthy, will he become the first Michigan player since Charles Woodson in 1997 to win the Heisman? McCarthy is one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten as he is dominant as both a runner and a passer. And as Michigan is set to have its share of big games this season, that should definitely keep McCarthy in the mix to win this award, of course, if Michigan continues to win. Staying in the Big Ten, Marvin Harrison Jr., the dynamic junior wide receiver out of The Ohio State University. Like I've said in the past, and I will continue to say, if Marvin Harrison Jr. had been eligible for the NFL draft this past spring, he would have been a top five pick. Harrison is by far the best wide receiver in college football heading into this season, in my opinion, and he arguably could be the best player. You're talking about a tremendous route runner, as his dad taught him well, and he's also a matchup nightmare. And because of that, and because of his big playability, that is definitely going to put him in the mix to win the Heisman. Just think back to last year's Peach Bowl loss for Ohio State to Georgia. The Georgia defense, as good as it has been, could not stop Marvin Harrison. And it wasn't until he went out of that game with concussion that things changed for Georgia. You look at the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and I'm talking about Caleb Williams, the junior quarterback out of USC. Now, all eyes will be on him as he's the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. And he's looking to do something that only one man before him has done, and that's the great Archie Griffin, as far as winning the coveted award in consecutive years. And honestly, Archie Griffin is the only guy who has ever won the award twice, period. Now, all eyes are definitely going to be on Williams, and so will the eyes of the defenses around the Pac 12 as they're going to be looking to slow him down. So, Williams is definitely going to have that target on his back. Possibly, you're talking about the first overall pick in next spring's NFL draft. So let's see if the young man will be up for the challenge. We just got to wait and see. Sticking in the Pac 12, you got Michael Penix Jr., the senior quarterback out of Washington. And if you followed Penix Jr.'s career, which began in Indiana, you knew that he was a solid thrower of the football there. And that trend has continued for him at Washington. The lefty threw 31 touchdown passes last season, and he should once again put up big numbers as Washington is expected to have one of the more explosive passing games in the country. And as long as Washington is able to give Penix Jr. a clean pocket, he should light it up again this year in Seattle. Sticking with the Pac 12, and I'm talking about another quarterback, Bo Nix, the senior at Oregon. Now, like I've said before, and other people have noticed as well, the Pac 12 is loaded with talented quarterbacks, and Bo Nix definitely falls into that mix. You know, we saw Nix start his career at Auburn, and of course, he's in the Pacific Northwest at Oregon, and he's made his presence known. He did it in the SEC first and foremost, and now he's carried it to the Pac-12 as far as being a solid runner and thrower of the football. Now, Oregon should be in the mix to make the college football playoff, barring something unforeseen. And just like McCarthy, playing in those big games is definitely going to keep Nix, excuse me, in that mix as he should be a household name this year. Now, speaking of the SEC, I'm looking at the sophomore running back out of Ole Miss, Quinshawn Judkins. And if Judkins had been able to leave school after his freshman year and declare for the NFL draft, he probably would have been a first round pick last year. He scored 16 touchdowns on the ground for the Rebels, and he also accounted for more than 1,500 yards rushing. Judkins is once again going to be a big part of this Ole Miss offense, and if he gains at least 1,500 yards or more this season, he might get himself a trip to New York City in December. And of course, anybody who follows a Heisman knows what that means. Drake May, the sophomore quarterback out of North Carolina, and last year was a redshirt freshman in Chapel Hill. He torched defenses around the Atlantic Coast Conference. to the tune of more than 4,300 yards passing and 38 touchdowns. May will definitely look to avoid the sophomore jinx for North Carolina, but another big season could have him on a flight to the Big Apple in December. And finally, going back to the Pac 12, and I'm talking about Cam Rising, the senior quarterback out of Utah. Now, Utah, they are the two-time defending Pac 12 champions. And a big reason for that is the playmaking ability of Cam Rising. Now, he's one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the nation, built like a tight end, really. But you know what? He can, for the most part, take the pounding of playing the quarterback position. But he's also an accurate thrower of the football, and he's tough to bring down as a runner. And that playmaking ability is going to keep Utah in the mix to once again win the Pac 12. And if they can do it, he definitely should get some recognition for the Heisman. Now, I'm not here to make picks and say, well, this guy's going to win the Heisman. These are just people who I feel should be looked at and should be highlighted in this race. I think you have a ton of tremendous players around the nation with the college football season set to begin. And of course, things are going to play out and we're going to see who the best of the best truly are. But these are just some young men to keep your eyes on this fall on the gridiron. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.